Take it away, fellas.
Thank you, voice girl, and welcome once again to another edition of the Manspace Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and with me, as always, is my co-host. I have nothing bad to say today. Big Les.
Yeah, see, it's a new leaf for you. It's a new
leaf.
new
It's a
moon,
It's
new
a
moon,
day.
and everything.
Les, as we're recording this, today is a monumental day. One of the most important days in the history of our country. It is National Chinese Food Takeout Day.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. I had some garlic chicken and broccoli the other day. You know, I should have saved it for today.
Yeah, man. Wife saw that this morning. She made me run out before the show to go get some. So I got some salt and pepper chicken down there waiting on me.
You gotta love that, man.
Hey, gotta love it, man.
I'm all about the different ethnic groups, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Yeah, Chinese
man.
food day is a good day for me.
We know as we are recording this, our nation is deciding its next president, and we're not going to talk about it. We're going to try to take our minds away from it. We're going to take your minds away from it. It'll be after the fact by the time you hear this. So we're just going to have a little fun. And you know what, Les? I got to do it. I hate to do this because we got a special guest.
Here we go.
And our special guest, he is a fitness coach. And I hate to do this, but I got to do it anyway. You ready?
Food alert. Food alert. The Manspace Podcast is talking about food again. Food alert. Food alert.
So after I got back from Michigan a few weeks ago, wife and I have been on this little health kick, and I told you about, Trevor and I doing the whole walking thing and everything daily to make sure we get our steps in and working out and stuff. So decided to go low carb and been doing real good, man. I've been seeing all these cucumber recipes online. Oh yeah. I never thought in my some years on this earth that I would be eating cucumber. Dog, I've been tearing them up. They have been so good. But I had to break the low carb yesterday. Because our friends at Bohangles, man.
Bohangles.
They came out with a blueberry waffle chicken sandwich, dog.
Yeah.
I broke the low carb for it, man.
But I'm weak.
I broke the low carb for it. It was actually
that's crazy.
It was okay. It was okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and say, Manspace Nation, you need to go out and get it. But I did show my weakness and I did go get it. I broke my low carb. I don't like to say diet, but my meal way of life that we've been doing, the low carb thing. So I figured, we'll get it in that morning and then make up for it the rest of the day. But it really wasn't worth it, man. It was wasted.
It's not the Bowberry.
It's not the Bowberry sausage.
It's not that.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that at all. It was. I think just because the chicken, it was the normal Cajun spicy chicken.
Yeah.
And there was so much seasoning on the chicken, it just really
that threw it all off.
Yeah, it threw it off. It threw it off. So
that's craziness.
I really couldn't get down with it. I'm disappointed. But Manspace Nation, you didn't expect anything less from me than to go try it and let you guys know how it is. Because that's what I'm here for, Manspace Nation. To let you guys know whether or not you need to go and waste your money or not. And I would say on this one, you can pass on this one. Some people might like it. Mrs. Russ had a little bit different take. She kind of liked it. Me, and not so much.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Everybody's got different tastes. Even you and I, we like different things. As much as we are alike, we're different.
We're very different.
I mean? Yeah. So it's crazy. I like how you say that. Yeah, we're very different. We're very different.
Yeah. We're very different.
What's that supposed to mean? You kind of hurt my feelings here. I thought we were more alike than we were different, but it's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. See, we're on the same page again. It's okay. We're both saying it. It's okay.
I'm saying it out of frustration. You saying it out of let's move on. You know what I'm saying?
At least you picked up on that.
Yeah. Well, it's okay because I would do the same thing. But it's all right. Move it along.
Listen, guys, he's been on the show before. I'm not going to go give him a long introduction right now. This is our power coach, our fitness guy. He is in the house. He is helping us as men and women resculpt our minds, resculpt our bodies. He is the power coach, Coach Martize.
Yeah.
What's up?
You're on mute, bro.
Oh, you're on mute.
There we go.
There you
go.
All right. What's up, gentlemen? Good to be back, man.
How things going?
I couldn't hear you. All right. Oh, everything's going awesomely well. That's my phrase. Awesomely well.
Awesomely well.
Yeah.
So last time we talked and you were on the show, you were still doing the brick and mortar shop for your fitness training, but I've heard that you made a transition where you're not doing the brick and mortar shop anymore.
Yes, I did make a transition. However, I still have some loyal clients I've been training for years, like 10, 12 years that, at that moment, you've established a friendship.
Yes.
And so we still meet a couple of days out the week, but made the transition to go strictly virtual now.
Okay. So how's the virtual class working out so far?
Oh, it's going great, man. We offer a free week to allow individuals or families to kind of experience it. It's something innovative. We're talking about fitness training followed up by relationship coaching as well as dietary coaching. So we're covering 3 key elements of most people's lives that, let's face it, we all want to get in shape. We all want a better, stronger relationship. And we want to eat better, but that's hearing your story earlier.
So what you're saying is that my Bojangles blueberry waffle chicken sandwich would not be on the list, huh?
No, we probably scratch that off the list and give you something a little bit more healthy as an alternative.
Okay.
Yeah.
See now.
What's up?
I was just saying.
Why are you trying to pile on?
Yeah, because
man,
piling in on me earlier, so I'm gonna get you back.
I heard him.
Hey, go ahead.
So, as far as dietary, and I'm really not a big fan of the word dietary, right? Because of, but meal replacements, lifestyle substitutes, things like that. What type of things do you recommend? Like when there are all these trends out there, you hear people saying low carb, you hear people saying all that, you can eat carbs, but just do it in moderation. You hear people saying keto, you hear people say non-keto. What are your recommendations when it comes to that?
I gotta agree with you, Russ. I'm not too big on all the trendy words or even the trendy diets. At the end of the day, I think just being more mindful of the food that you intake and the amount that you intake, and being also more mindful to have that balance of activity, being able to burn it off. We need to be burning off more than what we're consuming. I'm not all about diets and what you should restrict. However, I do recommend a couple things. As you know, I may have shared that before, that I gave up meat and dairy in 5 years now.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
That was basically more of a health move for me.
Okay.
because I believe in the numbers. Numbers lie, people do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the fact that the numbers are increasing when it comes to cancer and it comes to
Right.
heart disease and things like that. It's simple math. It's in the food. It's in the food.
Right.
And I heard you talking about your chicken earlier, and that's one of the things that you know, I don't want to pour any bad karma on the chicken. However, I will leave you with this to think about: the amount of chicken that's consumed in this country. It's almost impossible to see that. How can we keep up with this amount of chicken
Right.
without adding some type of drug or steroid or something to
Mhm.
help reproduce these amount of chicken? You know what I
Right.
mean? And so that part right there kind of makes me step back a little bit and say, well, the chicken is good, but is it really the chicken, or is it the things that we cover it up with? That
Right.
crust, that seasoning.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're not gonna just dive into a, a dead chicken, but the
Right.
process that it goes through,
Mhm.
that process right there just kind of makes me a little bit more hesitant when I started to think about meat.
Yeah. I had a guy. He was an iridologist and
Mhm.
a very big health proponent as far as dietitian, for lack of a better term. But
Okay.
he was out of California that I talked with, and he was saying how you can eat chicken long as you only eat the breast. Don't eat the wings. Don't eat, the legs or anything like that, because that's where blood vessels are, and that's where they inject into them. So it's like
Mm.
poultry is fine long as you eat the breast because there's no veins in the breast, right? The rest of the chicken, you don't eat because that's where they inject, and that's what holds all the blood, all everything. Like he was saying, stay away from beef. And for a long time I did. Les will give me a hard time about the hooved animals where I wasn't eating
Right.
them.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I would eat
Yeah.
poultry and I would eat seafood, but
Right.
if I did poultry, it was only the breast. I wouldn't, and it wasn't until just kind of recently that we kind of started shifting away from that. We got
Mhm.
away from dairy for a good while.
Yes.
And just to do an experiment, one year I didn't do dairy and I didn't do a flu shot. And no
Mm.
more than that year, I didn't get more than a sniffle that year. And it would be if I was outside too long,
Yeah.
and my nose would run a little bit. But other than that, I didn't get sick. I didn't even get a full cold that whole winter by
Wow.
not doing dairy. Because one of the things that he preached is that dairy is the root of all disease, your eye problems,
Mhm.
because it causes plaque in your arteries. Dairy causes the plaque build up in your eyes and everything. My wife actually had stopped wearing her glasses because her eyesight had improved during the time frame of us not doing dairy.
Oh, that's
Really?
And
awesome. Awesome.
yes,
Yeah.
and
I
and it was one of those things for us.
uh-huh.
It was we can say that we were 100% dairy free because
Mhm.
dairy is in so many different products, and it's
Yes.
disguised under so many different names
Yes,
sometimes.
absolutely.
So it was hard to say we were 100% dairy free, but we made sure, like, when we did it, we went dairy free. We tried, the vegan cheese, diet cheese. I'm sorry if anybody likes diet cheese. That is some nasty crap. I
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't do it. It
yeah.
is absolutely horrible.
Right.
But we tried that. We went and got rid of everything that was high fructose corn syrup.
Mhm.
And we threw every bit of it out.
Mhm.
I filled up two grocery bag, two
Wow.
trash bags
Trash
full of
bag.
trash
Yeah.
bags,
Wow.
two trash bags full of stuff that was in my refrigerator that had high fructose corn syrup as the first ingredient.
Wow.
Mm.
So I, to this day, now that's one of the things that I'm very picky about. And when I look and I try something, I'm always looking at those ingredients. But I've kind of slipped off on the dairy a little bit just because I like a little creamer in my coffee.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
What
it's one of those things that, I commend you for it.
what
Mhm.
about those non-dairy things? Can you use that stuff in it?
Then
Go ahead.
The
the
powder.
creamer, the
Yeah,
powder.
the powder creamer.
I don't like them.
Yeah.
I don't like powdered creamers.
Yeah.
That's just me. I
Yeah.
don't like them, and I don't add sugar to my coffee. So it's like I
Okay.
use the creamer to sweeten it. So
Well, I can definitely agree with you in regards to the dairy. Real quick story is that in 2018, before I gave up meat and dairy, I would claim that I'm an asthmatic, like literally, like I had my pump every day, emergency rooms, breathing treatments, and all the such. But I say that now because I don't claim it, because as of 2019 when I gave up dairy, I no longer have used that inhaler. I no longer had any asthma issues. But it is simply because, like you said, the dairy causes inflammation in our bodies, and the inflammation was like, if you're asthmatic, I challenge you to, you don't have to go cold turkey. Sometimes I may even indulge in a little dairy from time to time, but being mindful of the 80-20 rule, 80-90% of my diet need to be clean, need to be, as healthy as possible. But, if you challenge yourself to give that up, you're going to see a difference. Just like you said, you saw a difference. Yeah. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I love that saying.
I like that. I like that. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I like that, man. Listen, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna get into the meat of our show, and we'll be back with more with Coach Martize right here on the Man Space Podcast. We are back with more of the Man Space Podcast with our special guest, the Power Coach. Coach Martize.
Figured out how to do that.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
There's nothing wrong with that.
One of the things that you talked about is you talked about the relationship side of your coaching. So it's not just coaching the physical, you're coaching the mental, you're coaching their mindset, but you're also coaching their heart as well. And I pulled up this video, and I thought this would be a great topic for us to discuss today. And I really wanted you to come on because I think that you offer some insights and can give us a great discussion point on this one.
Oh, awesome. Let's do it.
When a man wants to get married, he's only getting married truly for one reason. Because let me be honest with you women, the men can work and provide for themselves. He does not necessarily need you to cook, clean, and have sex because he can get sex from multiple women. They're giving it out. A lot of them can cook and clean. Their mother taught them, or they can pay someone to get it. The culture is telling them, do not get married. So why would a man go past what the culture is telling him and choose to have a wife? Because with a wife, you can now have love, you can now have nurturing, you can have support, you can have affection. This is what he can't get from a roommate. So if that is not what you're leading with in your relationships with men, is love, support, nurturing, and respect, this is why your husband is now pulling away, because in the beginning you gave him those things. But as you got into the relationship, you got bitter, you got resentful, you start seeing his flaws, start counting that against him, you start measuring him against other men, and now you're pulling back on the love, the affection, and the nurturing.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's exactly what I thought, that this was very interesting. And overall, I tend to agree to an extent with her, as far as
some things I can see.
Yeah. As far as her saying, hey, we don't need a woman for certain things, because we can do those ourselves. But if you're not presenting the things that we want, then what's the incentive for us to get married, right?
Well, I think the number one thing that stood out that was the most interesting is a woman telling us what a man wants. I thought that was very interesting. When a man gets married, what he's looking for and what he wants. Coming from a woman's standpoint, I see where her points were going to, but let's be real, only a man knows what he wants and the reason why he's getting married. He knows that.
That's true.
And I think I had to tend to disagree with her. I think the culture tells us to get married. I mean, you think about it. When someone's getting married, you ask them a question: why are you getting married? I asked this to a young man, why do you want to get married? Couldn't tell me. Couldn't tell me. And I can look back in my first marriage. Why did you get married? Because I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Right.
That's what the culture tells us to do.
Well, I think from that standpoint that the culture has told us that from our age group, right? And maybe a generation or two, a generation behind it, right? It tells you that that's what you have to do. But I think this new generation is at a point where they don't have to, even from the women's standpoint. You see a lot more women that are not getting married. And you're finding more and more women that are 30, 40, 50 years old that have never been married. And there are a lot of men that are getting into that area because they it's not that they haven't found the right one, they haven't found the incentive to do it.
Well, I think culture has a lot to play with that. You know what I mean? And how people and who you're around. Right? Yes. I think that has a lot to do with it, because look at years ago when we were coming up, they were pushing college, right? College, go to college, go to college. Then it was this mass rush. Everybody go to college. 5-10 years later, none of them could get jobs. But the culture was pushing them that way because that's what they saw. Right. And I think sometimes that happens.
I mean, they're still pushing that, but
well, I think they're pushing. That's another topic, but
you're right. That is another topic, because I think at the core of the culture is thriving on power, money and power. And it makes more sense to push college, push marriage, because there are so many other financial benefits behind a population going.
There you go. There you go. That's the key part of it. That's why when we talk about the culture pushing the incentive of marriage, it's because there is the benefits of it, right?
Absolutely.
And because especially in our culture, as the Black culture, our culture is spiritual. So they don't want you shacking. They don't want you having kids out of wedlock. They want to push you to get married. So that church culture is going to push you to do that, right? I know people that I know several people that had to sit there and have a fake wedding at the church because they had secretly got married and didn't tell nobody, and they had to go back and have a secret wedding later on, just a fake wedding later on, just to appease people at the church, because people were sitting there thinking they're shacking, right? It's one of those things that
that's just keeping up appearances.
It's too many people in the outside pushing in. When you look at with her video was not directed at us.
Who's directed at women?
Directed at women.
Right.
So she's trying to answer it from a general perspective for women, to say, hey, step your game up, right? Be able to offer these men something that they can't get out there anywhere else. Because if you sit there, if I go to a car dealership and there's nothing but 15 red Corvettes sitting there, what's the difference in them?
Yeah,
and they all look the same. They all drive the same. You know, what's the difference? What's making this one stand out? It says, "Oh, I like the way this one sparkles in the sun over those."
Right.
You know, it's gotta be something different about that person to make it stand out for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with videos like this, I come across these types of videos on social media and just, being in the industry. And oftentimes I hear, I don't know, what do you call them? Relationship advisors or experts.
Yeah.
And in this case, in this video, she talks about what a woman should be doing, right? And it can go both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
But on the surface, we all know things that should be done in a relationship, in a healthy relationship, according to our experience. But however, everyone's not able to show up in a healthy relationship because of their past experience.
Yeah,
so
the baggage.
Once you uncover what's under the mattress, now you find out why she's not able to continue to lead with love or continue to be loving, continue to be supportive. Because there's some baggage that she's dealing with, which I talk about in my coaching program, is that when we are engaging in dating or looking to date, there's never a talk about past trauma. How do you deal with your trauma? How do you deal when you're triggered? How do you deal with these things? And listening to her, it gets to a point in a relationship where it does become a little toxic. She does start to pull back.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they never really dealt with their own personal mess.
Yeah. That stuff is still hanging out and it's lingering.
Absolutely. It's so easy to point the finger at what you're doing. You're not supporting me. You're not doing this. You're not how are you showing up?
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I just I listen to the videos, but all I can hear is that you're telling us what should be done. Let's go in a little bit deeper and ask the question, why isn't it being done?
Yeah. Well, that's good, because I think in most relationships, you have to take accountability. Both partners have to take accountability for their actions and their past actions, because if you bring that, every woman is not the same and every man is not the same, right? We have some similar things. I'm a male, he's a male, but we act differently. We need to communicate differently. We give our love differently, our support differently. So we need to be able to get on each other's level, right? And communicate to each other the way we need to be communicated to.
Yeah. But you hit on the head, Les, doing some a self-accountability session with yourself. And I can speak from experience, being married and separated, divorced, and remarried, separated again on the verge of another divorce. And at that moment, it was just like, look, Martize, how are you showing up? What's going on with you? You are in a pattern of toxicity. You know what I mean? So now you must do some self-check and see what's going on with you. And then what I found out was that, I'm too busy pointing the finger at what everyone else is doing, but I never looked at myself and said, you know what? I never even dealt with my own childhood trauma. And now I'm projecting it onto my relationships, not only in my intimate relationships, my friends, my co-workers, whoever is in my proximity. Once I'm triggered, I have this reaction that causes these disconnections in all my relationships. So I had to start working on that and deal with that. I think that's the missing piece that so many relationships fail to do, is that self-accountability work, to say, okay, I know I got some mess. Let me deal with my mess before I, engage in this relationship and expect you to handle my mess.
Right. I agree 100%. Yeah, I agree 100% with you, Coach, because I'm gonna tell you, I was married once before and separated and divorced.
Yeah.
And I had to deal with a lot of things in me before I was ready to deal with somebody else. I had to know who I was.
That's right.
Right? If I don't know who I am, how am I going to tell you how to treat me?
Yes, absolutely.
You know, because we can go through this rigmarole of trying to figure out how to treat me. But the truth of the matter is, right? I just flat out ask, what do you like? What don't you like? Mm-hmm. What are you willing to do? What are you willing not to do? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right? And just put it on the table.
Right.
You know, this is it. Okay, you got some baggage. Let's work on this baggage. If this relationship is worth it, let's work on this baggage together, because we in a relationship. So I'm going to help you carry your bags. But eventually, we're going to put them bags away.
It's hard. It's hard to, that's one of the hardest things for people to do. In order to deal with your baggage, you must be willing to be vulnerable.
Vulnerable. Absolutely.
Most people aren't able to be vulnerable, man. It's scary territory. No one wants to look vulnerable. And until you are truly vulnerable with your partner, you're gonna have these
bags
in the road.
Bags, yeah, you're gonna have them bags. But let me ask you this.
Yes.
If you can't be vulnerable with your wife, who can you be vulnerable with?
Well, here's the deal, man. We wasn't never taught how to be vulnerable, especially us men. We have to safeguard our inner child. We have to, and when I mean safeguard, it's this tough protective mode that we have to protect that inner child and not be able to let that guard go and be vulnerable. So it's tough. We have to retrain ourselves. We have to re-raise that inner child to say it's okay. It's okay to let someone in. It's okay to let someone in and let them know how you really feel.
Yeah, you know? I watched cartoons the other night. My wife came in the room and she laughed at me. She says, "Not you." I said, "What are you talking about?" She says, "You watching cartoons?" I was like, right. "Well, yeah, I'm watching cartoon." I had to, shrug my shoulders. Yeah, I'm watching cartoons. And she just starts, "Hey, give me another beer while you going in the kitchen."
That's right, man. I'll watch some Flintstones in a minute.
Hey, man, Tom and Jerry was the joint. You hit me. I was watching Jerry get lit up by dog. You know what I'm saying? Or Tom get lit up by dog.
Yeah, that's right.
I had to drink a beer and laugh at that.
That's right. It's okay to be you.
Yeah, but see, I'm secure in me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not tripping over it.
That's right.
And she laughed and she kept going. She probably thought, yeah, that's, okay. That's just another one, But hey, it is what it is.
But that's a moment where you were being vulnerable, and she saw a side of you that helps connect with you. You know what I mean? So
I'm still a kid at heart at times.
Right.
But I think that still goes back to kind of what she was saying, right? It's her allowing you to be you.
Yeah.
So instead of having you walk on eggshells, instead of you being closed off, and she's allowing you to be you. I think that's part of what was being said in that video. Yeah. From what men want is and what we really in turn look for, right? It goes beyond the bedroom. It goes beyond cooking. Yeah. It goes beyond cleaning, because all of those things are things we can do for ourselves, right?
Well, the cooking and cleaning. Well,
we can do the cooking and cleaning, but you can go out there and get a rando out there if you need to, right? Yeah. You don't have to have love for that.
But I think a man wants that peace of mind. Granted, we can do those things, but
there we go.
We don't want to do those things. We don't want to do those things.
Right.
The peace of mind is
the peace of mind. We want the peace. Yes, we want that.
That's more than anything.
That's the most valuable thing in the world.
Now you can get that, but in the video she talked about. You starting off a certain way, but then you become bitter. I was writing some notes down. You become bitter, resentment. You start to see his flaws and you pull back. There's a lot going on in just that little piece of the video she talked about. In any relationship, when it becomes to that point, that means we have two individuals that wasn't being truly themselves. They allowed the relationship to get to a point where now I'm building up resentment. Well, what's the cause of the resentment? He had every action has a reaction, because if she's got to a point where she's bitter and resentful, let's be mindful that that was caused by some action. And number two, that's her trigger. These are her emotions that she's dealing with. So now it comes out in these resentful, bitter behaviors. So there's the two people who are not dealing with their mess. He did something to cause her to do something, and now her reaction is to be bitter. So now we have two people who are not dealing with their mess.
How about it could be just as simple as in the dating mode, a lot of us put on a facade.
Yeah,
we
man.
don't show the full deck of cards when we're in dating mode. So when you really get into the relationship, you may show more of your cards when you're in a serious relationship, or when you get married, you show more of the cards that's in your deck. And, she or he may not know how to deal with those cards when they put it, or that may be one of those, ooh, I don't know about that one.
Right.
I'm
that
trying
deal breaker.
I'm trying to deal with it, but it's making me a little bit more standoffish than what I was, because I'm like, I don't think this is the same person that I was with, but you try. You don't have the same feeling, but you're still trying, right? I mean, I don't think a whole lot of people actually put their deal breakers on the table from the jump, and may not put all of them. You may put some, which are the most important ones.
Yeah.
And then after that, then it's like, oh, I really don't like that.
Yeah, hey, some deal breakers you don't find out until later.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's because then again we go back to the vulnerability.
Yeah.
No one wants to be vulnerable in the beginning.
Yeah.
I got to show you this persona that's protecting me. And once I get to a point where I'm a little bit more comfortable, now I can show a little more vulnerability. And that's where you may see those changes of behavior, because now they feel a little bit more safe. But it's you said it again, Les. Everyone has different life experiences. So
yeah, man,
not being able to deal with someone else's mess can look differently from man to man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like they always say, one man's junk is another man's treasure.
yeah, but I want to challenge that man to work on himself first.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because in my opinion, man, I think the man sets the tone in the relationship. That woman's gonna thrive off of you. Her energy can go one or two ways depending on your energy. Now,
I agree.
If you're not solid and secure in where you're at, then that gives her a lot of uncertainty. So she don't know how to react,
how to move.
And typically when you have this amount of uncertainty, it brings up this sense of anxiety. Anxiety breeds fear. Fear is a dangerous place to be in, man. And once you're in that space of fear, that's when a lot of the resentment comes into play. A lot of toxic behavior comes into play. So it goes back to the man, and it's no taking no accountability off the woman, but I just feel like the man sets the tone of the relationship with his energy.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
What you thinking, Russ? What you thinking?
I agree to an extent.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Because the man is looked at as the leader of the household. The man is supposed to set the tone. However, a lot of times with us as men, we're tired. We don't have time to set the tone, especially when it comes to a marriage, because you would go out there. We're supposed to be the breadwinner. We're out there doing all the work. We're trying to bring home. And by the time we come home, after you done worked a 9-10 hour day, because essentially you're gone from the house, A lot of times you don't want to. You're closed off. You're tired. You run down.
I think you set the tone during dating.
And I think
it ain't got nothing to do. It ain't got nothing to do with the marriage.
You can date all you want.
What I'm talking about, but you got to date this
once you get into that marriage,
but you got to date this woman.
You
marry her.
You date the woman, you marry her, but you also set into routines because over time, everybody gets into a routine of how they do things.
I agree, but
when you work your 9 to 5, maybe you leaving the house at 8. A lot of us in our situations where we've shifted jobs and changed homes and for a good while we were at home. And now all of a sudden they're calling you back in the offices, and offices are hours away. So now you've gone from walking across the living room and then coming back to the, for your work day to now you're in an office to where you're driving hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours to one way. Right. So you're gone. By the time you're home, you don't want to deal with everything. So your tone, your energy is gone. You can't be the tone setter anymore. You set a precedent, not so much the tone of what you like and what you don't like, but also you set a routine. And so that's where the bitterness, bitterness can set in, and those feelings can change because you're in a routine, you're in a rut.
I disagree. And the reason I disagree is because you as a man, right, regardless of the situation, you're setting up this relationship with this woman, whether you go to work every day, whether you don't, whether you work 2 hours away, whether you work 5 hours away. Your relationship has been set up in a certain kind of way, right? And I'm only speaking from my experience because everybody's experience is different, okay? When you date this woman, you're setting these expectations and these goals the same as she's doing with you. You're setting expectations, you're setting goals. So to me, right, my wife know I need to eat. I leave the house at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. to be to work at 7. I don't get home till like 5:30. 2 things happen off the rip when I go into the office and come home. Either dinner is being cooked, or we're going out to dinner. The decision is made. So I'm not worried about that's the last thing I got to worry about is food, right? At some points in time, as a team, everybody gets to be the leader. Because every day, like you said, Russ, I'm not going to want to be the leader. I can't be the leader every day, right? Because things happen. She has to be the leader that day. She has to make decisions. She has to go for it. She has to do things. When she ain't in the mood, I have to set the limit. I have to make the. I have to make.
You agreed with me.
What I'm just saying.
You agreed with me though.
But I'm saying these are things that are set before.
But
that's all. I just
that we can't always set the tone, and that was my point.
It's not about setting the tone. It's about working together.
You just said it though.
It's about working together, bro.
I think I could bring some clarity with because I see where you're both going with it. And when I said set the tone, I think Les understood me to say that in the beginning of the relationship, you set a certain tone in this relationship. Okay, in the beginning. And I think, Russ, you're talking about on a day-to-day basis. I'm talking about overall in that relationship, in that marriage, she know what type of man she has. Right. She knows what to expect in this man.
But going back to our video, she says over time, bitterness sets in. So I'm pulling from that and saying that because things change, situations change. So
she wasn't the right one for you. No.
Hey,
that's the reason why the divorce rate is at 50%.
She ain't the right one.
No. Now, Les, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that. I think she's just not neither one. Again, I'm gonna go back to because I gotta give action reaction. There's a reason why she's acting like this, right?
Yeah.
I think it's not that she's not the right one. I just think that neither the man or the woman are dealing with their emotion. They're not being vulnerable. They're not talking it out. Instead, it's much easier to have these reactions as opposed to say, you know what, baby, I see that you're not feeling the same, or you feeling the same way you've been feeling toward me before. Can we have a conversation? Can we talk? But oftentimes you don't see that.
We miss that.
Yeah, we miss it because we never taught that. We never taught how to talk.
We miss it because of the routines that we end up placing ourselves in.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
How many times do we sit there and the game is on and we like, don't bother me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the game.
Right.
Monday Night Football is on. Hey, my big A is over here on the wall. They playing this weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Don't bother me, right?
Okay.
During that time frame.
Okay.
But that may be the time that something essential that she wants to talk about comes up.
That's right.
But too many times, men, and I'm just saying in general, too many times on the stereotypical, we don't turn it off or pause to listen to her right then. Because it's like, gosh, what do you want now?
Right.
Like, can you give me a minute to breathe? Yeah. I work. I'm working all this time. I just give me these 3 hours. That's all I ask.
But it's how you say it though, Russ. If you say it in that manner,
we say it out of frustration.
Yeah,
because of it's the timing of it, right?
But it's also
everything is about time. So all of it can lead to resentment, right? And a strain in that relationship, Yes, I do believe a relationship is 50-50, right? And that's not saying, I can't be dominant, or she can't be dominant, or she can't take the lead, or I can't take the lead. We're partners, right? That's right. We're partners in this relationship. And a lot of people, when they hear 50-50, they think in bills. Like, no, it ain't like that.
No,
no, it's the relationship.
The circle.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's what the 50-50 is, right? Yeah. But when it comes to what men really want, and going back to the gist of what she was saying, is we want respect, we want peace, we want love. Those are the things we want to be nurtured, right? When we left our mothers, right, to enter into a relationship, we want to be cared for, right? We want to be respected.
That woman wants to be cared for too. She's looking for another dad. So
right. But it goes into it, right?
Yeah.
It goes into it, but it's like a lot of times where she's directing it is at women. They think that, well, I'll sleep with him today. He'll be all right. And that's all he needs. And that's not, because so many times we play off the stereotypes of what we see on TV or what we hear in the rap music and stuff like that, and it's not the case.
And if she think like that, she ain't got no clue.
Yeah,
that's true.
Straight up. She think like that. Oh, I'll just give him some and he'll be all right.
Yeah.
You have no clue, love.
Because again, it goes back to lack of information, man. And if this was she saw growing up and experienced this, you know what I mean? She's only thriving off of what she knows. But that goes back to, the conversation, being able to talk this thing out, man. And the lack of information can cause so much confusion in the relationship. Lack of clarity will cause confusion.
Yeah. So, we're running low on time on this episode. Let me just get both of your final thoughts on this subject.
I'm gonna go first because the coach, I think you should better give better insight than me. Right? I'm just gonna say it real simple. Inspect what you expect and communicate, right? And communicate your expectations and listen, because she will provide you with her expectations as well. Relationships are 50-50 or 100-100, however you want to say it, but you both complete each other. And if you don't complete each other, that's where the problem will be. All right, Coach, take it away.
I piggyback all what you said, man, and I would just add on also, because I'm a huge fan of self-work. I think I would encourage anybody in a serious relationship to work on you, work on yourself, and the relationship will work itself out. It will get stronger the minute you are working on yourself and getting stronger. And what I mean is that, you hear a lot, just do some self-work, but what does that mean? That means being vulnerable, becoming a student of your emotions, understanding your trauma, understanding your triggers, and not allowing it to cause disconnections in the relationship. When we have these emotional triggers, again, we just kind of do what we were taught how to do, just blow up with anger and or lash out and things like that. But being strong enough to take a step back and say, okay, I understand that I'm feeling something right now. I understand why I'm feeling it. Now, how can I articulate this emotion where I'm not disconnecting from my partner? Once we get to a space like that, then I think we'll be able to avoid the bitterness, avoid the resentment, because we're able to deal with our own mess and be vulnerable enough to talk to our partners about. But that comes work and trust. So that's what I got. Yo.
Coach, how can they find you, follow you, get more information about the training sessions and everything?
The training session, ittakesavillage.com. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, the Power Coach Martize, TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I try to utilize all those platforms, man, while they're free.
All right. Awesome. Listen,
awesome.
Hey, we're going to do some more stuff with you real soon. We're going to have you back on again, because I think we're scratching the surface in this discussion, and I think that we got some more to talk about. So we're gonna work this out and get you back in here so we can have some more conversation.
Oh man, sounds good, man. I'm all for it, man. All
right, that's it.
Right. Appreciate you, Coach. Appreciate you. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back with more of the Man Space Podcast.
Appreciate it.
As we do each week, we like to close the show with just a little bit of inspiration. The word of the week is discipline. We often hear the word and think of discipline as how we raise our children, but that's not the direction we're going in today. See, discipline is the ability to control one's actions, thoughts, and emotions to achieve a specific goal or maintain a particular standard. It involves consistent effort, commitment, and self-control to stay focused on what needs to be done, even in the face of distractions, obstacles, or temptations. Discipline often requires making a sacrifice in the short term for long-term benefits and success. It is the cornerstone of personal development, productivity, and achieving excellence in any endeavor. You see, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishments. So, Manspace Nation, keep building that bridge, one determined step at a time, and watch your dreams become a reality. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and let nothing stand in the way of your success.
Boy, I tell you, man, you come up with some of the best things. I'm going to ask for a compilation of all of these. So you put them on a disc so I can play them every morning and listen to them, because
get you motivated.
I just need discipline.
Yeah, I needed something to keep me from that waffle chicken sandwich, but
hey, wait, what you got? What you wanted? You tasted it. You know it ain't right. So now you done with it. You don't need discipline. Experience. What mama say? What mama say? Touch a hot stove, you gonna get burned.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Oh man.
Listen up, the Chloe Foundation is still rocking and rolling. Thank you for everyone who has donated to the Chloe Foundation. It is still up on the manspacepodcast.com where you can still donate to the Chloe Foundation. And we'll soon be accepting nominees for our next Chloe Foundation All Heart Award. So that will be coming up on the website as well soon. We want to thank Coach Martize being on the show with us. And we're going to have some special announcements with him real soon as well, too. And I think that's all I got.
That's it?
That's it. I don't have anything else. My mind's on empty. I've been cutting my eye over here to results.
I said that I wasn't going to do it. I got a text message that just set me on fire. So it doesn't matter. And I'm going to say it today. And on that note, we out of here.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Man Space.
Whichever platform you listen to us on, make sure you subscribe and don't miss a show.
Remember to keep up with all the Man Space updates on our website, themanspacepodcast.com.
And you can follow us on Instagram at manspacenat1.
Until next time, Man Space Nation, he's Les, I am Russ, and we are out
of here.
I'm weak. I'm just so weak. Hold up. Before you go, coming up on November 15th is Russ and Less on the Outliers Edge podcast. That's right. We're going to be stepping out of the man space and stepping into the Outliers Edge podcast. It's a great interview. Make sure you check that out wherever podcasts can be found. Also, Christmas week, New Year's week is going to be the best of the Man Space 2024 volumes 1 and 2. You can catch that on Christmas week and New Year's week, the best of the Man Space 2024. And if that's not enough, coming up in January, hey, guess who's got a new show? That would be me. Yeah. It is called Russ and Company. It's going to be with all of my friends that I've met all across the country celebrating excellence. Russ and Company coming up in January. And before we let you get out of here, we got to get a message in from our sponsor. You already know who it is. It's Manscaped. Because guys, are you ready to level up your grooming game? Well, then Manscaped has got you covered with the all-new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. It is precision engineered for those sensitive areas with safe skin technology to help you avoid those nasty nicks and cuts. Plus, it's waterproof, and it even has a built-in LED for maximum control. Trust me, you'll feel fresher, cleaner, and more confident. Join the millions of men who trust Manscaped to keep their things smooth. Head to manscaped.com and use the code TMSP20 for 20% off and free shipping. Your body will thank you, and so will your girl too.